based on lies all the way. Don't believe me? See the movie, then you come back and thank me. Psychiatry, the Industry of Death is the name of the film. The right course again, we'll send it out to you. Now, if you can find it someplace, get it and see it. It's worth seeing.
Documentary or movie?
Pardon?
It's a documentary.
It's a documentary all the way. Now, when I got on this little tangent, because of that, and because our planet now has two suns and they're both magnetic, our planet is going to get rid of the soulless ones. And the battle now is not because of you, it's because the sun people and those that live under a sun are now getting rid of the people that have no sun. They're not sons of the sun, they're not daughters of the moon. They're now getting rid of them, and those life forms at one time used to live inside of our earth. Because along with the good guys that were down there came other species which realized that you cannot live on the surface and maintain any kind of stability. Because the sun, as it was, without a magnetic covering, creates death. Age is produced by sunlight with too high a frequency, working on cells who can't match it, so it destroys them and radiates them rather than properly making them therefore. That's what happens when you don't have melanin, which disperses that energy jointly throughout all the cells that have souls, which have melanin, and that's how you can live longer under a sun. If you have it, it kills you if you don't, because the sun and the soul is in each of those cells. Around each cell is something called a membrane. That stands for memory ring. They have permeable and semi-permeable membranes, which means sometimes the soul is, that cell is taking energy, sometimes it's giving off energy, and that's how it lives. When you have radiation at low frequency, it goes in there and destroys the cell membrane, eats up the cell governor, and the cell becomes a cancer, a free radical. That's what cancer is. So when you're exposed to these radiation fields that are low, you're killing yourself because it's killing your cell governor. The cell's a free radical, it's a cancer cell. You're not able mentally to hold it in. You don't know what to do otherwise. And so now you begin to be eaten up by a foreign soulless substance because the soulless ones are now in you. Did you hear that? That is cancer explained. Let me try it one more time. Every soul is a cell or has a cell. And every cell has a soul. Why? Because every cell has a governor, a little vibrant piece of energy in there that they call the cell governor or the brain of the cell. Every cell is another soul, it's another planet. Everything in creation just replicates itself. What you see in one exists all the way. The creator has nothing to hide. Your cell has a cell governor. That's what makes it specific. You got a hair cell. You got a skin cell. You got a muscle cell. You got a blood cell. All of them are cells that are hollow with governors, making them specifically do what they're supposed to do. And around each one of those is a membrane of energy that is called the cell wall. The cell wall does not take in corn chips and steak and french fries and so. In fact, once you eat corn chips and steak and french fries and hog maw and pig eggs and you don't see it in the cell. You see the energy that it either took to process it, I didn't say digest it, or it took you to hold it. Because there is no energy in any of those things, and you're not eating food, you're eating death. Because it takes more of your life force to process and throw it away than it did to take it in. When you take in things that have food, like gold and stuff like this, now you feel more vibrant when you finish eating. You eat less and gain more, because when you gain more, you eat less. Huh? Huh? You didn't follow that, did you? If something has no life force in it, in other words, energy from the universal prime creator, how can you get life force out of it? At Thanksgiving, at Christmas, when you sit down and eat all kind of foods for all duration of time, and you go somewhere in the couch and go to because it's taking all your energy to process what you ate for food. It's not food. And they call it soul food? No way. No soul of mine knows it. No soul of yours. You can't get something from nothing. And that ain't food, it's nothing. It's got no life force. Things that have life force have a vibration to them. There's an essence, there's a foamy thing. You can feel it. And after 3 days' time, it's all bad anyway. So if you get your juices, you keep it 3 days, it's no good. Get it full of life. Add gold to it, quicken the energy. Now your cells will heal themselves. As it is now, you keep giving them death and say, why ain't I getting better? Well, you didn't do anything to get better. You do anything to make the process worse because the soul is not in these cells. The cell then seeks other souls in your body in the form of cells to live off of. And that's what cancer cells do. They got nothing going. You deserted them. So now they're going to find the cells that are good and take them over so they can feed off of them. They're vampires. And that's what a vampire is. Any collection of cells that had no cell makers from the soul creator and now is seeking other cells in order to contaminate and live. Anytime you get then a cell without a life source, is going to seek other cells in your body. And you could stop that. And this is sometimes those two people you didn't know before, Miss Desire and Willpower. When they get together, you got something going. They are a mate, and it's from heaven sent. But you lose one without the other, you ain't going nowhere. So now, what are they telling you? Using that as a principle, I'm trying to make it as simple as a baby. Because babies are pure when they come in. They get confused once they get here. Let's be pure back to the kind of the matrix we came in on to know that you already know truth because you were born in truth. You develop other truths through habit, formation, and misuse. The cell has around it a cell matrix. It's an energy field. Sometimes it's taking in energy, sometimes it's giving off energy, yinning and yanging, ebbing and flowing, north and south pole. The cell has a governor. As long as that governor is kept intact, the cell will do what it's here to do. Not give it enough food or give it poisons, it will soon lose that cell governor. Now it becomes a free radical roaming through your body to try to get with other cells so they can live off of them because they don't want to die. They are vampires in your blood called free radical cells. Is that now understood? Yeah. Well, don't make it clear now again. Now. I don't say you have to agree. You understand the philosophy. Yes. That's all I want you to know. Just understand it. You have to agree with it. You sleep on it if you agree with it. But hear what I'm saying. Now, this planet is nothing but a cell. It means it has a hollow interior, which has a soul. That's the inner sun that they don't tell you about. That is the soul of Earth. There's another sun inside of this Earth. It's nothing but a cell. Okay? This particular planet has 7 air layers, or 7 layers inside. It has 7 layers outside. So it's an onion of 14 layers, with the matrix being that separates the inside from the outside. That is outside, they call up to 7 heavens. And inside, they call it the 7 hells of Hades. Helen, hell means to cover. That's what the word Helen means. Look it up. To hell and back, and some people call it hell and back. Right? That means that when you go inside, there's 7 different areas you can go inside the earth. When you go outside, there's 7 areas you can go outside the earth. It's still earthbound. It still means on earth. That's what they call earthbound souls, because the souls might try to get free, but right now they're earthborn, bound. If they don't have souls, they were never here in the first place. They're just matrix here, and who knows what they'll do. Souls here are here for a lesson, whether it be in the hells or in the heavens. They will get that lesson. For everything you want is right down here on earth, because everything you're thinking, earth tries to make reality. That's what it's called, physical reality, which doesn't exist. Huh? Yeah. Did you follow that one? Didn't miss that. You missed that one. Physical reality doesn't exist because the physical plane is the lowest condensation of people falling from understanding to not understanding. So on the earth, everything is physical. And that's what we study, physical science. And they teach you that. What about extreme abnormal science? Well, that means you're abnormal. But what about quantum physics? Well, that means that only specific people can get to that. You're not smart enough. Well, that means you're not smart enough to be alive because you have a soul, and that's what it is. It's extraneous matter. It's matter that you can't hold in your hand. You want to measure the soul. Depends on what the soul has learned or not learned. Let me now make this even clearer as we want to move to what's happening on our planet now. These soulless ones couldn't live under a sun because they wouldn't be able to live anyway because they had no souls. And they didn't have physical bodies, So they came to earth and lived inside the shell of earth for protection. And then, since they didn't have souls, they wanted to understand more what made these souls what they were. So they came here and began to kidnap, abduct, mess over, and set up laws by which they could then get souls, stop them from ascending, and use them to find out why their souls, they didn't have one. That's what it called the little grays you hear about. They have other names. That's what it called these people from Chiloshu. Well, Chiloshu, they're pretty good ones. People, there are a lot of people here from all kind of places. There are 13 different kind of people here right now from other planets. 3 of which they passed. The rest of them, if you saw them, you would freak out. But they live inside the earth because they know what it means to live under a sun. And plus the fact if they live on the surface for a while, they might begin to have soul irritation because they don't have souls, and everything you're doing is what souls want. So they want you to get from you what you're making out of the matter. That's why they abduct you. And that's why fourth dimensional people are seen coming through walls. Those women and men online, when the women say they were abducted and think they were impregnated, that's the creatures that now work with the soulless wonders here to try and duplicate what the Creator has. They're being exposed for what they are. That's why these movies are coming out. Why do you think they talk about werewolves and vampires? Everybody saw that movie that some of the, I think it was called Predators or something like this, where they had locks. And they said they didn't care what they looked like, they had locks, but they were good. Not necessarily so, because they got locked, you don't have to be good. But they just looked like you in one form. Okay? So, they've been back here, and the movie they're trying to show you there. Now that they're beginning to now find that this planet is taking on more magnetism, they know their time is limited. Because magnetism is for souls. And the step after magnetism is for energy, organic everything. Then you know they're dead. But now they're disintegrating what they don't have on the spot. So they got to get off the planet. And that's what they're about to do. They buried into the ground. You got more cities under the ground than you got on the surface. Because on the surface you have water. These people live under the water. You know, the water only goes down so deep. They live on levels underneath the water. They even put the fish ones there, even put domes on the bottom of the ocean, by which they can go in and try to get to be part of this. You got everything here. There's more inside the earth than there is outside the earth, and they never teach you that in history, in zoology, in biology, in humanities. Why? Because they're not human. Why would they teach you about yourself? Because you might learn and begin to question what you're doing anyway. You're finally breaking away. And then, take a deep breath, because now you're going to get angry. Some of you get happy. And then they give you the best vehicle of expression you have. If you found out the schools weren't teaching anything, all you had to do was go to the church, and the church would direct you with vital finality because they were there to take your souls and direct it back to the Creator. No, they didn't use Creator. Back to Jesus, back to Allah, back to Buddha, back to everybody else that represents the church. All churches are false. There is not one good church. I make that statement as an ex-Baptist minister. Notice I said ex. When I knew better, I did better. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not going to play with the Creator. I thought I had truth. I spent time in school to be taught lies. And every question I had, because I've always been a student, and I asked those people in seminary, they told me, you don't do it that's false stuff. You don't think that's exactly what I wanted was the false stuff, because then I know how to separate the false stuff from myself. If you know, teach me. If you don't know, don't teach me. Don't claim you're a teacher. So then I began to hear about the Council of Nicene. I began to hear about King Constantine and Bishop Eusebius. I began to understand that when the so-called Greeks came into there, what they brought with them was a false religion because they had been occupied. I began to understand about the original Jews that were not Dravidians or Colossians. I began to find out about everything. I said, whoa, what is this I'm beginning to find out about? And why, since I finished that course, didn't I know about it before? How can I be a good anything if I don't have all the books and all the truths? Let me be weighing enough to know what's real and what's not real. On the dollar bill, they're still back. The Novus Ordo Seclorum, the order of the New Ages will come about. They got the all-seeing eye of Horus above the pyramid, and the same thing on the dollar. and the church accepted the dollar like any other thing. They're not going to turn down your dollars. They're going to put ATM machines in your church because that teaches the Jesus. God will bless you if you got an ATM machine down there because you can punch in this number and you give awful money. You know all it does that. Makes it why that's right there because I'm telling you the truth. Why do you need an ATM in a church? In a church, what does that have to do? The financial status of your soul? You gonna spend soul money? That taking and giving your soul for money? You are born as a soul in the temple of the Creator, and the only thing you got to do is get the body you were born in straight because you got 75 trillion souls in there, depending on you, and you don't even know who you are. Every soul is, every body has to be 75 trillion souls in there. Little cells that you're supposed to be dispensable for. If you want to find the Creator, go with Him. Every night you join the Creator because you die every night. You're back here because your soul has something to learn, and the multidimensional existences that you would think you call dreams. As you're living elsewhere in the Creator's mind each night, and that's why your dreams are so vivid now, especially if your soul is going back to the orgon energy generators, because now you're not just focused on one lifetime on this planet, you're focused on the lifetimes you've had and are having, because life is simultaneously existent, it's multidimensional existence in the Creator's mind now. And you visit that when you go to sleep. When you come back in, sometimes you come in too soon or too fast, and you wake up on the lower astral, which is the lowest heaven, and you don't quite sit in, and you look and you see an old hag and some awful looking creatures, and you can't scream, and you're screaming and nothing's coming out, and you panic and go nuts, and go to the psychiatrist next day and take some job out. You don't have to go through that again. You are not your body, you're in the body, you are a soul experiencing the physical plane because it was the only way to get the point across to your stubborn selves. And now you came into something and you call it real, which is a matrix you helped create. And you can break it up anytime you want to. That's why when you don't do the drugs and you purposely gear up your pineal gland to tell the pituitary gland to secrete the hormones to take you there, they will do what these drugs can't do. They'll take you there. And then you can come back from that unharmed because you went there to creation that you made, not what some daggone drug gave you. When you go on a drug burst, you got taken there and you don't know how you got there. And you know some of these streets at night, you better not go down there without some kind of guide. And you better have two guys and a good karate master or Tai Chi. I'm going to go do this one, forgive me. You better have somebody. Well, it's the same thing. When you do these drugs, they blast you to these various planes of existence automatically, and you didn't, but your soul, your body can't match it. So now you lost your body, which means you act like you lost your mind because your soul is no longer in that body and something else is in you. That's how you get possessed. And that's when you take these drugs, that's exactly what happens. After these drugs come through with what they call these things, these little things that are in the syringes already, these little chips. You think you're getting the drug, you get the chip first, then they give you the drug, because once you got the chip, you're going to take the drug. You're going to crave it and ask for it, because now you're out of your minds, and you want sanity again. Go the hard way. Develop it yourself. Take in the things to give you life force. Make your pineal pituitary gland secrete what you want. And now, since you created, it's your heaven. If you're up there, you deserve that heaven. You didn't get blasted into the heavens, thinking the hell's thinking you're seeking for a heaven. The temple of the Creator is your body. You are part of the universal Creator's mind. You have a soul. You are never without the Creator. You can be godless because gods are false. They are people and scientists. The Creator is neither. The Creator is all of those, and you are from the Creator. When you want to find yourself, ask for the Creator. He or she might answer because you're in him or her. And every night you can contact her. You don't need a rabbi. You don't need a minister. You don't need a priest. You got the free conduct pass. You go there every night and look forward to it. I got to go to sleep. I'm tired. You're tired of earth life. You want to go to sleep because you want to go to heaven. But then you look at, well, where is heaven? You just went to it. Where is hell? You're coming back. Do you get the picture? I know I just stepped on some corns. That close bad enough. Step on a corn. I have to step on corns to make you get your feet straight. Because if your foundation and feet aren't straight, where's your head going to go? The 10-foot tall knives of earth and people who are there, 10-foot tall, your souls are being feet tall because it has no boundaries. And your soul is your direct connection with the universal prime creator. Doesn't ask for offering, doesn't ask for tithes, doesn't ask for ATM machines, doesn't ask you to sing and choir, doesn't talk. It said, this is sin unto me. Jacob's ladder had no end and no beginning because it was the rungs leading to the mind of the creator, and that's what that metaphor is about. Let me explain one more because it was asked me. I asked the person, let me explain it in full, in and out. Now, I hope you don't get angry with me tonight. If you ask for truth, I'm going to give you the truth I have. If it's your truth, it's good. If it's not, I'll probably step on your toes if you don't have corners. So the hope for both of us.